So today, let's talk about some camera lenses for your professional live streams. Did I just say professional? Well, I guess not yet. So in this video, I'm going to show you two good and affordable options to get better quality out of your camera. I'm going to be talking about two of my favorite camera lenses for live streaming. The first one is more like the holy grail of live streaming. The one everybody's talking about, all the big streamers talk about, is the Sigma. Is this one, the Sigma 16mm 1.4. So this is the one everybody's talking about, which is a very good option, very good lens. We're gonna talk about it later. So the other option, the other lens I'm gonna be talking about is the Makey 12mm f2.8. This is actually the lens I use in my streams over the Sigma 16mm. I like this option a whole lot better for my live streams because you have a more of a wider angle on this lens. But we're gonna talk about it later. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. Boom. So welcome back to the Bees Balls channel. If this is your first time on the channel, this is basically a channel that we talk everything about live streaming to YouTube growth. I'm basically your content creator guide. So you can just subscribe to the channel and we can just grow together. And also in the comments, give me a hashtag BeezyFam, just to keep the engagement on this channel going and get the algorithm to send this video out to more people. And also hit that little like button. And if you're a hater and you don't like the video, double tap that like button. Thank you. So let's get into it. The reason these are my favorite lens for live streaming, they both have wide angle lenses. They both have very low apertures, which meaning you're letting in more light, so it's a whole lot better for streamers and gamers, because usually when you gaming and streaming, you got the lights off in the dark room. And they are both affordable lens, only if it's in the budget, because it's definitely not necessary to have a high quality streaming camera in live streaming. But if it's in the budget and you want to upgrade your stream and make it pop and look a little bit more professional, these are the lens for you. These are the perfect lens for you to grow your live stream today. And I will also have my Amazon links in the description. So if you click on those links, you're gonna definitely help the channel out at zero cost. So before we get this discussing these two lenses over here, let's explain how we measure these camera lenses and what the focal length is and what the aperture is, because you wanna understand these things in order to understand how to purchase a lens in the future. So the focal length is measured in millimeters, and basically the easiest way to explain focal length is the amount of zoom your lens has. So the lower your number, the wider the shot's gonna be, and the higher the number, the more tighter your shot's gonna be. And next, let's talk about the aperture. The aperture is, they measure this and they call it the f-stop. Now the aperture, it's like the lower the number is on your aperture, the more light is able to come through the lens and to hit the sensor, which helps the picture look a whole lot better. The more light you have coming up on you and the more light hit the sensor, the better quality picture you have. So the higher the f-stop is, the less light is able to enter through the picture. So you're gonna have to add more light to your scene if you're gonna have a higher f-stop. And also another thing about the aperture and f-stop is the lower your number is on the aperture, the more blurrier your background will be. The higher your f-stop is, the less blurrier your background will be. So, and also in turn, like, your focal length has something to do with the blurrier your background is also. So the higher your focal length is, the more blurrier your background will be, and the lower your focal length will be, the less blurrier your background will be. And more in this, the blurry background is more called, they call it bokeh. When you hear somebody say bokeh, that's what that means. That means it's a blurrier background, your bokeh of your background. So you had your little lesson on the side, on the sizes. I try to do that a little quick because I don't want to get too in depth on that, because we here to talk about lenses. Now let's talk about the lens. Let's talk about the first lens, the Sigma 16mm f1.4. Now this lens is available in almost all your leading camera brands out there. You got Sony, you got Nikon, you got Canon. These lenses will be able to be purchased in all those leading brands, so that's no problem. No matter what camera you have, I use a Sony A6000 for my stream. It's just a good lens to have, good and affordable, and it's solid too. This lens, you can tell it's not a cheaply made lens. This is a great lens because it's a 16mm lens, so you have a wide aperture, and also you have a f-stop of 1.4. This is a beast in low light. This thing lets in so much light and you get such a blurry, creamy background. It's just beautiful. And also the Sigma has built-in autofocus. Now this is a very good option to have, very good feature to have, but for live streaming it's not so much. I mean, because you really don't need the autofocus on live streaming because you're not really moving around too much. So I mean, for live streaming, it's a bonus, but it's really something that's not really necessary. And the amount of money you paying extra for it, I mean, you can save money and buy something a little cheaper. So let's talk about the price of this. How much is the Sigma 16mm? The Sigma 16mm, you can find it on Amazon for about, sometimes you can find it $350 to $400, which is not a bad price for lenses. This is a very affordable price for a good lens, and this is a good lens for taking pictures, photography, vlogging. It's a very good camera for, very good lens for all of that. So that's enough of the Sigma. So let's get into the next one, and this is actually, like I said, this is the lens that I like the best. This is the lens I use in my live streams today. This is the Makey 12mm f2.8. Now I don't understand why nobody is looking at this lens for live streaming. I don't understand why nobody is talking about this one. But for a budget lens, somebody that's on a budget, that's looking for a good lens to live stream with, you can't beat this one. This thing has a focal length of 12mm. This thing is wide. Now, and also it doesn't have much of a bokeh as the creamier background and bokeh background as the Sigma, but is a 2.8, and also it have a wider aperture. Like I said, if you have a wider aperture, that kind of take away the bokeh, and also you have a higher f-stop, so that's a little bit less bokeh. But when you live streaming, I mean, you want to have a little bokeh in the background, but not too much. I mean, I guess it depends on you and your preference, but I kind of like to show off my room a little bit more. So, and you know, the things that I built, I like to show it off. So I I personally like this lens. And I mean, I think you should check it out. For the price, I believe you should check this lens out. The only downfall to this lens that this one doesn't have as the best at is this lens is both of these lenses are prime lenses. Now prime lenses mean that the focal length doesn't change. The Makey doesn't have autofocus. That's why I said really you're gonna pay less for this lens because it doesn't have autofocus and you just sitting in one spot anyway. So you set it for the focal length that you need and that's it. So you're really not moving anywhere. So I mean, for the extra amount, for the extra money you're gonna pay for the Sigma, I mean the Makey got a wider aperture. I mean it got a wider angle and it just looks beautiful for the price. Like I said, it doesn't have the autofocus, so you will have to focus it manually. But so the price on this lens, let's talk about the price, because that is the reason that I really like this lens for a budget lens. The price on this lens, you can get this lens from like $150 to $160 on Amazon. Now you can't beat that. I mean, this lens is just amazing for the price, and I would recommend you try this lens out, especially if you're on a budget and you need a good lens for your live streams. So if you're looking for a stream that's gonna be similar to mine, let me just give you an example. I used the Sony A6000. I got a video on that, on the Sony A6000, why I like it for streaming and why I purchased that camera to be a budget camera for streamers. And you can go check that video out. I'll link it in the description. And the camera I bought, you can find it used for about $400 to $500, or you can buy it brand new, still available brand new on Amazon for about $600. Then you throw in the Makey lens for $160. Then you got to buy a cam link. So the cam link be about $149. Unless you don't have that in the budget for the cam link, you can go with the knockoff for about $15 to $30. Depends on where you get it from on Amazon. I definitely tell you that the quality on that budget cam link is very much different and it's not as good. The colors on it are not as deep and the sharpness of it is not as sharp. You're gonna have a more grainier picture and your color is gonna be more dull. But if you just want to save a little bit of money and use that, until you save up a little money to get a cam link, that'll be perfectly fine. So with all these things together, you're looking at less than $1,000 to have very good professional looking stream on your Twitch channel or your YouTube channel, whichever one you stream on. So we talked about all these lenses, these two lenses. So which one do you prefer? Do you prefer the Sigma or the Makey? And let me know in the comments. So, I mean, my preference is, okay, if you are somebody that's going to be doing like more of content, vlogging, YouTube videos and everything like that, and taking pictures here and there, go with the Sigma. The Sigma will be your best option for different uses and everything like that, because without that autofocus, vlogging is going to be a little difficult for you to achieve a good picture all the time. So I will go with that. But if you are somebody that's just using this camera just for live streaming, or if you're just doing videos, YouTube videos, like something similar to this, just talking head, just you know, in the same spot, I will go with the Makey because it's a whole lot cheaper, and I mean, wide angle, you can do so much with this. So that's what I would do. That's my opinion, but you can let me know in the comments what y'all think, and if you like the video, make sure you hit that like button, but if you didn't, make sure you double tap the down button. Thank you. See y'all in the next one.